Hello, everyone, and hope you're all having an amazing day or had an amazing day, depending on your current time zone. So, today I'm going to talk a little bit about my youngest daughter, Alani's inability to process information on the first go around. So, meaning that I have to be extremely repetitive in order for her to understand what I'm trying to ask her to do. Or if it's a given task, right? And I ask her to do something specific, like clean the bathroom, I have to be very specific as to what I want her to do in the bathroom. Clean the mirror, or I need you to clean the floor, or I need you to clean the bathtub. And then I have to show her how to do it over and over again. These are all important steps into getting her to understand how to perform a certain or specific task in order for her to feel comfortable, in order for her to do it in the future without having to be as repetitive. So in the beginning, it's going to take quite some time for her to understand, kind of grasp what she needs to do and for her to do it well. But once she gets used to it, based on of not only doing it, but also hearing how to do it over and over again, that's when she's able to accomplish that goal. So yes, it can be quite a process. It can get a little bit frustrating sometimes, but I found that this is the best method so far in getting her or helping Alani build up that confidence in order for her to do these things on her own in the future. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are new to my channel, my name is Kathy. Welcome back to my seasoned subscribers. On Mondays, I do videos all about fashion, accessories, just fun things that I enjoy doing to keep my mind off of the second half of the week videos, which are all about my two girls and their battles with TSC and FSGS. TSC being tuberous sclerosis complex, or tumors that can grow in any major organ throughout your body, and FSGS being a form of kidney disease that causes damage to the glomeruli, which is the kidney filtration, which can lead to kidney disease, kidney failure, kidney dialysis, or kidney transplant, depending on the disease's progression. So if you're interested in either or, please hit the little subscribe button and hit the little bell so you can be notified on all of my latest videos. And please don't forget to hit the like button and comment below. Let me know what you think of today's video. And thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I am this close to reaching my 7,000 subs and on my way to my 10,000 subs by the end of 2025. I appreciate every single one of you, and please note that it is 100% free, so don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. And let's get started. Woo! Okay, guys, I hope you're all having a fabulous day. I thought that it would be a good idea to kind of show you guys kind of what I go through on a given day to help Alani progress, right? Or progress into understanding how to do, whether it's a simple task or a more complicated task. Because of her processing delays, being that she does have that tumor that causes her so much issues. She has a couple of scattered tumors, like tiny ones that don't really interrupt much of her brain activity. It's that one in the left front of her left lobe that really causes the most issues and what's given her all these problems throughout her life. So being that, you know, having the seizures, that's where it's coming from, right? So we've monitored her, we've had her on all types of testing. Pretty much it's been a long, tedious process, but we're finally in a good place where we can recognize those issues and where it's coming from and how, and try to do like little things here and there to help her get to the next step, right? One of the biggest things that I started with was giving her the opportunity to speak to a therapist. We tried the in-person one. It wasn't as effective. Then we started working with her in the virtual world, let's put it like that, when it came to therapists. So she would talk to her therapist once a week. And then it started getting to a point where she really kind of shut down and wasn't really talking to the therapist as much. Didn't want to really talk to her therapist more than she wanted to talk to her friends and kind of hang out and stuff like that. Unfortunately, when it comes to Alani, being that she's going to be 17, and you know, at this age, you want to go out with your friends, you want to hang out. It's really difficult for us to be able to let her go with her friends and feel comfortable that she's going to make the right choices, or that her friends are going to make the right choices for her. So that's why it's important to be able to, as she gets older, identify good people that are going to be, you know, she's going to be able to surround herself with good people that are going to have her best interests at heart. Because unfortunately, it's kind of difficult to be able to know that she's going to know what to do in a, let's say, a serious circumstance or situation. So it's really important. Like, if she gets asked a question to do something that she shouldn't be doing, trusting that she'll make that right decision is it's pretty difficult to say yay or nay because of all of her processing delays. And when I say processing delays, that means that understanding that, like, her actions, right? Sometimes we have to explain, hey, this is wrong because of this, and be consistent with it. And then explain to her, okay, your actions have consequences. So if you don't do this, let's say, for example, I'll bring her clothes and she needs to fold them and put them away. So we'll explain, hey, if you do not do this, you won't be able to get your laptop for the rest of the night because you're not finishing your task. So understanding that if she doesn't do this, there is a consequence to that. So that's really, really important when it comes to children, especially children with processing delays, because they got to see, okay, this is what's going to happen if I don't do something that needs to be done. So that's like a scenario that we run into when it comes to Alani and making sure that she makes good decisions. So, and it's helped. So other things that we have done is putting her on a schedule, right? A set schedule, so she knows what comes next. So this was something that we started back in, I think it was like third or fourth grade. So what was happening was that if you didn't have a consistent schedule, she would become very frustrated, very upset whenever we tried to take away her device. Let's say we let her play with her laptop for an hour a day when she was in fourth grade. So that was like her schedule. So she had it from 6 to 7 o'clock. So what was happening prior to that was we were giving her a little bit of extra time where she was able to use her device, and it was becoming really difficult to go in and say, Alani, time's up. We need to take your laptop back and we need to put it away. She'd sit in her room. It would take her about an hour and a half to calm back down in order for us to get her ready for bed and stuff like that. So it was extremely difficult because we didn't have a schedule. So we would bring it to her at 5, we'll bring it to her at 6 sometimes, so she'll have it a little later, she'll have it a little less. So that was really, really difficult for her to comprehend. Why am I losing my device at this time when I had it later yesterday? So it was really, really hard. So she would have a freak out. Like, she would be screaming in her room, kicking stuff, become extremely upset, unable to express her emotions. That was the only way she was able to express her emotions. So she couldn't, and we would try to talk to her and calm her down. It would take forever. So we would just have to let her cry it out for a while. So that became extremely difficult to manage. So these are things that we had to deal with. So we recognized that the only thing that we would be able to do is kind of help battle this was give her a routine. Okay, Alani, this is what you need to do at this time. Take your medicine at 5 o'clock, then eat dinner, then you'd able to do your homework, whatever work we needed to do, if there was any homework that she needed to get done. Then once that was all done, wash up, take a shower, then we will give you your laptop and you can play with it for a couple of hours at this time. And we would put her little clock there. At this time, you are done and you have to hand over the laptop. So it took probably about 3 to 4 weeks to really get her into that routine. And it started to become a little easier and easier to get the laptop away. We didn't want to take away the laptop altogether because obviously that's not helping, right? We wanted her to do her, where we had like little games that she was playing. She was playing math games. She would play Minecraft. She would play like all these little games. And it was really helping too in school. Like, she would play reading games or follow along games and stuff like that. So this is stuff that she was able to interact with and interact with other kids too, like other parents that I was working with. And we knew who was on there, who was talking to her, who was playing with her. That it was very limited. Like, everything was locked down. So we knew who was there. We knew it was other kids with disabilities as well. So it really made it a lot easier for us to manage that time, as opposed to before where we would try to take away her laptop and it was a scream fest for like an hour and a half. And this was something that happened anywhere we went. So if we went and took her to the park, if we went and took her to the playground to play it would be literally an hour cry fest after. It would be a show before we got her out of the place. But then it would be another hour of her just calming her down or us trying to soothe her to calm her down and get her down to just everything's going to be okay. So that was a big one. I think that understanding how she was getting, recognizing the signs of what got her worked up was also another factor that helped us with that processing delay. If I saw that there was something that was going to trigger her, a certain food, I wouldn't give it to her after a certain time. If I saw there was a certain game that would get her worked up, like we had like certain games that she would play that got her to a point where she would get extremely antsy and frustrated if she would lose. So we knew that game it was not allowed at this time, right? We'd let her play it a little earlier on the weekend, so we allowed it that time. All of these things really help kind of adjust her brain to different, just to think or picture things a little differently, or to look at something a little bit different than what what she was normally used to, where it was just kind of chaotic. She could do whatever she wanted, and we were kind of treating her like another child that didn't have these type of delays or these type of issues, because we want, of course, every parent wants their child to be normal, and this was all new to me and new to us as a family. So it was really hard, because with our oldest, we didn't have to do these things, right? She was able to self-regulate herself. She was able to recognize that, okay, it's time for me to get off. My mom said this time. So where with Alani's completely different. She wants to stay on. She thinks that she's missing out all the time if she's not able to do something. So her thing is that she sees her friends doing something, and unfortunately she's not able to do it because obviously something can happen. So these are all factors in when we pretty much try to even schedule a day, probably before. Now she's older, so it's a little different, but when we were kind of set our day or our schedule for the weekend, or to go out, like if we were going to an amusement park, we'd have to kind of figure out how we're going to do this without putting her in a situation where she didn't want to get off a ride or get out of an area at a certain time. So we would say, okay, this is what we're going to do, and at this point we'll go eat. And at that point, once we finish eating, we can leave. So she's not in a situation, we don't put her in a situation where she's like playing really excited or really antsy and doesn't want to leave the area and makes a show. So these are all things that we definitely had to put some time into. And I know that I talked a little bit about it before, but errands, so little errands that we give her to do. So throwing out her garbage can, her garbage in the bathroom, her bathroom garbage. These are things that we say, hey, this is what you need to do. So we'd have to show her, have her understand where to go, how to find another bag and stuff like that. But this is repetition. This is something that all the time we have to tell her, Alani, don't forget to take out your trash on Friday, or keep track of it, make sure that. So this was consistency, right? Keep telling her, don't forget to wipe this down, do this, do that, and constantly explaining stuff to her. So these are all things. Swimming, like when we were teaching her how to swim, stuff like that. So we had to continue to teach her. Repetition, kept having to teach her every weekend for like 2 months, every weekend, consistent. Even if she was able to do it, we have to keep going. So these are all things that we had to teach her. Now, one thing that we haven't been able to teach her, she is 17 now, but which was really hard or really difficult, and I'm not giving up because I know it's important, especially her being older, is how to ride a bike. And the reason being, right, because she has this issue. So balancing is really a very, very difficult task for Alani. Extremely difficult. We spent about 4 to 5 months trying to teach her how to balance and how to ride a bike. And it became extremely difficult for her. She started riding a little bit with my father or her grandfather, like he took her out to. And she did okay. She did all right. But he said that she still was struggling a lot. So these are things that we go back to say, hey, we got to keep on. So we did get her bike, and she has her bike, stuff like that. But she still needs a lot of time on the bicycle. And I think that this is something that's probably going to take several months to get her used to. And it's a balancing factor, right? So these are all things that we have done or we've tried, or methods that we have, either they fail or they don't. We always keep trying and keep pursuing to help her feel comfortable with being able to make those decisions on her own, and understanding that okay, so I think that, let me kind of express it or explain kind of what I'm thinking here. So by us teaching her and being consistent, it helps build up her confidence in doing the task and knowing that she's doing it correctly, versus having to ask one of us constantly how to do it. So I'd rather me be consistent and be constant and constantly telling her how to do something whenever that we ask her to do the task, versus her not feeling comfortable and not being able to do it and constantly having to ask us how to do it. So I think it goes full circle, right? It goes full circle. Having a child with a disability, or especially one that doesn't kind of understand something when it comes in, it can be difficult, right? It can be difficult. But I think now I see her willingness to want to learn more, her willingness to want to understand something when we ask her to do something, which is great. I see that change in her. I see that understanding, like she's calming down a lot more. Now, one major thing that she really struggles right now that I'm working on is her inability to wait, right? Her inability to say, okay, if she asks me something, she has to have the answer then and there. And if she doesn't get the answer there and there, she'll keep asking. And that becomes very frustrating on my part. So I have to do my breathing exercises, and I have to understand that her brain functions differently. So this is something that I had to teach myself to kind of take it and really relax and kind of take it easy. And then I have to express how I feel, and I explain to her how I feel, and then I tell her, and we talk about it, and then I explain to her why it's important for her to learn how to be patient. And that's something that we're still working on. That definitely we do not have down yet. That's the next step in this this fun process. So we'll get there, because I know she wants to do better. I know she's always wanting to do better, and she's a good kid, and I love that girl so much. I love my girls, and because we have all these things that we've worked through, and all these things that we've been through, we have a very close-knit family, and it's so important to understand or be understanding as a parent and not get frustrated. So I'm working on it myself, and this is why I do my yoga, this is why I meditate, this is why it's just so important. So anyway, guys, I hope this was informative. I hope that you guys enjoyed my video today. Please feel free to comment below. I could definitely use your support in helping me grow my channel and helping me with the algorithm gods. Thank you again, guys, and please don't forget to focus through and evolve.